Hey folks, this is Kalani. Welcome back to Legion Alpha, where the last specialization has been unlocked. That's Destruction Warlock, and that's what we're going to be looking at in this video. Now with all of these previews, we're going to look through the basic abilities, and then talents, and then finally the artifact. Now, a quick note on the artifact, Scepter of Sargeras. Because of the server that we're using right now, it is a fully powered artifact, so you've got everything unlocked there, meaning I will be able to show you some of these extra abilities. But for now, we're going to take that off so we don't get any of the abilities mixed up, and we'll put it back on later just to see how much power it gives to our Warlock. I'm sure it's going to be kind of ridiculous. So Destruction Warlock is one of the ones which hasn't really changed a lot. Apparently that's why it's last. So we basically have the same set of tools, except we're using soul shards now instead of burning embers. Immolate does a bit of damage up front and does damage over time, and has a 15% chance to generate one soul shard, and the chance is doubled on critical strikes. So that's a 30% chance on crit strikes, not a chance to generate two. We have Incinerate, which hasn't really changed at all, just a single target spell, does a bit of fire damage. Cool. And then we have Conflagrate, triggers an explosion on the target, dealing a bit of fire damage, and also generates one soul shard. Has 2 charges and a 10.7 sec recharge rate. So that's where a lot of our soul shards will be coming from if we actually need them. You know, Immolate's going to generate them over time, Conflagrate will give them instantly. And then we have our nuke, Chaos Bolt. Unleashes a devastating blast of chaos, dealing a stupid amount of damage, as Chaos Bolt always does. It always crits, and your crit strike chance increases its damage. 2.68 cast time. And a little bug maybe there on the casting animation. So the other thing that we got to play with is Havoc, and that's kind of all we really have to play with, except Rain of Fire, I guess, is destruction specific, but it costs 3 soul shards. So let's get some soul shards. And Rain of Fire. Doesn't seem to actually cost soul shards. I'm guessing that's a bug. Or maybe you just need 3 soul shards to actually cast it. Not entirely sure why that would be a thing, but hey, you never know, but probably a bug. Now, as I said, the last thing is Havoc. Marks the target with Havoc for 8 seconds, limit of 1, and you copy single target spells to the Havoc victim. Now, notice that it's a limit of 1 Havoc, not a limit of 1 spell, and the Havoc does actually last 8 seconds, meaning, if we Havoc and quickly get out some Chaos Bolts, you can throw 2 Chaos Bolts at 2 targets. But that seems to be pretty much all you can do. Got a sneaky conflagrate in there, but does seem very limited to what you can do. But on a 20-second cooldown, that means it'll be up just less than half the time if you've got the targets to use it. Now, apart from that, it is all baseline Warlock. So we have our Summon Demons, we can summon an Imp, Voidwalker, Fellhunter, and Succubus. We can use their most powerful ability with Command Demon. We have Fear, we have Summon Doomguard, and Summon Infernal, which I don't believe have changed. Drain Life, interestingly, for Destruction, but I'm not going to argue. Health Funnel, we have Life Tap, Unending Resolve, Enslave Demon, Soulstone, Banish, Ritual of Summoning, Eye of Kilrog, Demonic Gateway, Create Soulwell, Create Healthstone, and that does seem to be all of your kit, which is a little disappointing, but we've got plenty to supplement it with our artifact, if we can find the right one, and our talents. So let's have a look at talents quickly. Backdraft, casting Conflagrate reduces the cast time of Incinerate and Chaos Bolt by 30% for 5 seconds. That does seem to be 5 seconds and not any charges. Just check that quickly. Well, it came up basically with 4 seconds left, but I guess that's 5 seconds really, isn't it? But doesn't seem to have a charge, which is nice. Roaring Blaze, Conflagrate increases your remaining Immolate damage on the target by 50% until Immolate expires or is refreshed. Shadowburn blasts a target for shadow damage and costs 1 soul shard. It generates 2 soul shards if the target dies within 5 seconds. So that's actually a really nice way to generate extra soul shards, but as long as you've got plenty of ads to kill. Reverse Entropy reduces the cast time of Chaos Bolt and Rain of Fire by 0.5 seconds, and they restore 35% of your maximum mana. Fire and Brimstone. Incinerate now hits all targets near your target. I wonder what the range on that's going to be. That's pretty decent to hop across to that one. Cool. Baseline as well. That's going to be crazy on AoE fights. Mana Tap. Consumes 40% of your current mana to grant 10% increased damage for 20 seconds. Cool. That is going to be one hell of a juggling game to tap your mana and then tap your life to get mana back. Your healers are going to hate you. Demon Skin. Your Soul Leech absorption now passively recharges at a rate of 1% of maximum health every 1 second and may now absorb up to 20% of maximum health. Mortal Coil, because where would we be without it? A Warlock has to have a Mortal Coil. Basically seems to do the exact same thing which Mortal Coil has always done, horrifies an enemy target, incapacitating them for 3 seconds and healing you for 11% of max health. Shadow Fury, stun all enemies within 8 yards for 3 seconds. Eradication. Chaos Bolt increases the damage you deal to the target by 12% for 6 seconds. I wonder if that stacks. Because if this stacks, we might be able to get a nice stacking buff to increase the damage of subsequent Chaos Bolts. So we'll Chaos Bolt twice, watch the buff, and then Chaos Bolt a third time. It does extend the duration, but doesn't seem to stack at all, so just 12%. Cataclysm conjures a cataclysm at the target location. Seems to be the exact same thing that we already have on a 1 minute cooldown. Let's see if anything's changed there. Very shiny. Also applies immolate to all targets. Having that and Fire and Brimstone is probably going to top you like instantly on any AoE fight, so that's cool. Soul Harvest immediately generates 5 soul shards on a 2 minute cooldown, meaning you could start the fight essentially with 3 Chaos Bolts and then continue from there. I wonder if that's going to be worth it on a 2 minute cooldown, because it doesn't seem to be too difficult to get 5 soul shards, but if you Chaos Bolt down to no soul shards and then use it and Chaos Bolt again, it's a shame you can't have Eradication with that. Demonic Circle summons a Demonic Circle for 6 minutes, allowing you to cast it again to teleport to its location and remove all movement slowing effects. So this is the teleport which was baseline, which is no longer baseline. Now the one thing to mention about this is that you can't recast it without cancelling the buff. So you actually have to cancel the buff on yourself to recast the portal, the teleport location. But you can happily teleport as many times as you want in the 6 minutes, obviously. Burning Rush is the exact same thing which we've got right now. Basically kill yourself to move a bit faster. Dark Pact sacrifices 20% of your demon's current health to shield you for 400% of the sacrificed health for 20 seconds. If you have no demon, your health is sacrificed instead. Grimoire of Supremacy, you're able to maintain control over even greater demons, allowing you to summon a Doomguard or Infernal as a permanent pet. Nothing new there. Grimoire of Service, again sadly nothing new there, just gives you a second demon, and then Grimoire of Sacrifice lets you sacrifice your demon, causing your spells to sometimes also deal shadow damage to the target and other enemies within 8 yards.
This beaten dog still has some teeth!
Someone's shouting about being a bitten dog, but never mind. Grimoire of Sacrifice, again nothing entirely new there, or it doesn't seem to give you a percentage increase, just sometimes do a little bit of damage. That's a little disappointing. Wreak Havoc. Havoc now lasts 20 seconds and has no cooldown. So you can endlessly destroy 2 targets. I wonder who that is screaming. But never mind. Channel Demon Fire launches 15 bolts of fell fire over 2.6 seconds at random targets afflicted by your immolate within 40 yards. Each bolt deals a bit of fire damage. So if we target 2 people with immolate, that's pretty cool. It's also on a 13-second cooldown, give or take. That was fun. Let's do that again. I like the animation for it too. Very cool. And then the last one is Soul Conduit, a nice, boring passive. Every soul shard you spend has a 30% chance to be refunded. Great. So let's have a look at the artifact, because this is the first time I've played about with a fully powered artifact, and we get to see everything. So the first thing is Dimensional Rift. It rips a hole in time and space, opening a portal that damages your target. Sounds very much like Zul'Harak. That's cool, but very strange. Pretty much the only spec or class with that kind of ability by the looks of things. But that has 3 charges and a 45-second recharge rate, meaning you're probably not going to be able to get a lot of those out in a single fight. So from there we got Flames of the Pit, increases the fire damage you deal by 6%. Soul Snatcher, Chaos Bolt has a 15% chance to refund 1 Soul Shard. Fire and Flames reduces the cast time of Incinerate by 10%. Fire from the Sky increases the damage dealt by Rain of Fire by 15%. Impish Incineration increases damage dealt by our Imp's Firebolt by 15%. Lord of Flames, Rain of Fire summons an Infernal to serve you for 8 seconds. Let's have a look at that. Let's get 3 Soul Shards. Rain of Fire for the Infernal, there he is. And he doesn't seem to do anything, but we don't spend Soul Shards right now. So we can have endless Infernals. Which isn't really too powerful really, because they don't seem to do anything. They only last 8 seconds, meaning you'd have to Rain of Fire pretty much on top of your target and hope they go straight for it, instead of running back to you first. Now, where were we? Let's pop this way. Eternal Struggle. After casting Life Tap, you take 30% less damage for 6 seconds. That's actually really strong. That's basically nearly a tank cooldown when you cast Life Tap. Demonic Durability. It reduces the cooldown of Unending Resolve by 30 seconds. Master of Disaster. Increases damage dealt by Incinerate by 15%. Chaotic Instability increases critical strike damage dealt by Chaos Bolt by 15%. Dimension Ripper, Incinerate has a 15% chance to reduce the remaining cooldown on Dimensional Rift by 45 seconds, which is basically granting you a charge. Holy poo, forget what I said about not being able to cast it, so let's cast a few of them. Green one, cool. So it is basically... Why'd that one disappear? They seem to have... They seem to be disappearing quite randomly, and that's a little disappointing. Maybe just a bug, but either way, we can see that Incinerate does basically give you a charge sometimes. And we can see we have green portals as well as purple. Even though the green ones don't like sticking around. But let's have a look at the other abilities that we've got. Let's ponder this way. Burning Hunger increases the crit strike chance of Immolate by 10%. Residual Flames increases the damage of Immolate by 15%. Devourer of Life. Drain Life has a 45% chance to increase its damage and healing by 25% for 15 seconds. And Planeswalker. Transporting through your demonic gateway heals you 50% of your maximum health. Wow. I'm guessing that's only for the Warlock, because if that was for the entire raid, that would be broken beyond belief. Conflagrate has a chance to guarantee your next Conflagrate critically strikes, and to increase its damage by your crit strike chance. See if we can get that to proc. Which would be exactly that, and then boom! Who doesn't love more damage? Especially when we're probably going to be stacking crit to increase the damage of Chaos Bolt anyway. So, that is Destruction Warlock. And it seems to be all about crit and all about damage, which, you know, is pretty much what Destruction Warlock is right now. So maybe not too many changes. But that's it for the Destruction Warlock. If you've got any questions or queries, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll try to get back to you. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.